Brian Callahan. Now, the 1-5, the 1-5 start, or you're saying get Brian Callahan. As I asked you for, do we lay this at Brian Callahan's feet and say we're time to get him out of here? You were like, absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely. Let's go ahead and get this guy out of here. I'm a little bit more sympathetic to the cause. Let's go ahead and hear your logic here.
Well, it's just, if you just watch them, I mean, here's the thing. I get it's a difference of like when you watch a team. Okay, what are they? 1-4. They won a game, right? They've actually beat a team.
They've won it. They have won a team, and I think it's
okay.
I think it's 1-5. I'll go back and check this.
Right. So there's, like I said, there's a difference between if you're watching them play when you watch the Saints play, right? You can see like the Saints are out there, they're battling, and they look prepared. And when you watch Tennessee,
1-5 for the Titans, bottom of the division,
right? And it's just like, at least if you want to see your team, and I get it, he's dealt a crappy hand last year, but when you don't look like you're somewhat just a little bit competent, at least if you're put together, or if you're losing, at least you're still out there battling. And that's the difference when you watch this team play the last 2 years. It's like now, and I get it. You got a rookie. You got stuck with back-to-back rookie quarterbacks. One I would never consider to be a starting quarterback versus Cam. I believe is going to be a starting quarterback. I believe he's got the tools, but it was one of those things when you don't see a stepping stone of something, it's like, here we thought, I mean, even look at Carolina. I mean, you can go, I mean, how awful did they look the first couple of weeks? And now they're 3-3. They're a 3-3 ball club right now. So again,
hard fought, seemingly 3-3 too, except against our dear Falcons, who was not very hard.
No, we kind of rolled over on them. Right. But so that's the difference when you watch those teams week in and week out. Then you're just not seeing just being prepared, and they're awful on all sides of the ball. Their special teams. I mean, at least the defense shows up every now and then. Cam has some moments, but it's just when you don't see just something changing week in and week out. Like you don't see them. Okay, this week we're going to focus on this, and then because obviously they talk to, when you're watching, I don't know, any kind of game, and you hear the commentators. Well, we spoke to the coach, and they're really going to focus on this today. And I get it. They're trying to sell whoever they're talking to, the commentator, on what they're going to do. But typically when they say those things, you usually see it translate into the game. And that's what you just haven't. They don't look prepared. They don't look, I mean, they look like the worst team, and they don't like they're not looking any better. Again, I understand he's strapped with what he got, but I don't know. We see coaches do this all the time. Get dealt a crappy hand. I'm going to have to go back to New Orleans. Look at New Orleans. I mean, did you see the way Rattler played last year? He looked like horrible. Like this guy's not a starting quarterback. And this year, I mean, they're a scrappy team. I mean, I think I think they're the same record, or maybe they won one more. I can think of the record off my top of my head, but that's the difference. Like I understand they've got a new coach this year, so it's a little different situation. But again, they brought in a coach that pretty much has the same roster they had last year, and he's making this team compete. New Orleans is a competitive team. I mean, they're not going to win a lot of ball games, but they're also not going to be they're not going to quit, and that's the difference. You can see Tennessee guys their team is quitting, and that's your big difference.
Yeah, it's really hard to defend anything Callahan here because, I mean, for one, 419 is abysmal.
Mm-hmm.
Right, that's a 0.174 on the win percentage, and also say amongst all coaches in NFL history with at least 50 games, the worst winning percentage ever is Burt Ball at 1.79. So he's like flirting with that percentage. So it's close. with the 1 point. I mean, it's the percentage is worse, but there's more games. I mean, it's less games, so you never know. He could have turned that thing around, but just to let you know, the territory he's flirting around with there is worst of all time territory he's flirting with. So there's not really any reason that I can say that he shouldn't be fired. But I can say that it's necessary. It wasn't necessarily all his fault there. When you're looking at things like let's bring up the Will Levis situation, right?
Oh,
and
God,
this could definitely been his.
That poor guy. I feel bad for him.
Was it that his quarterback? Was it that his quarterback? This is no knock. Okay, so I'm not going to try to knock Will Levis here. This isn't a show where I'm going to come on here and try to kick people while they're down. I don't even think Will Levis is starting right now. Is he backing up Cam? Is he still there in Tennessee?
No,
backing up Cam?
He's out for the year.
Oh, he's out. He's injured.
Yeah,
he's injured. So would he have been Bear backing up Cam? Because obviously they drafted him. They drafted Cam with the pick right after taking Will Levis. And it's kind of like a Kyler Murray type situation. You know what I mean?
Right.
But you think that given with where they took Will Levis and then given with where they take Cam, they're moving on pretty swiftly. All these decisions don't necessarily fall on Callahan. And I don't think that, offensive line is terrible, by the way.
Oh, horrible.
Cam's out there running for his life. Now, I'm not sure if he's responsible for those decisions too. Now, if you do lay out, now I'm not in the front office here with Tennessee. So I don't know. Maybe Callahan is sitting. Maybe I can't even cape for him in this regard. Maybe he's sitting in on all these decisions. Maybe he's gung-ho in all these meetings. And then that's the case. It's hard to defend anything, right? Because you definitely can't defend the record. But you can think about other things that maybe maybe contributed to a terrible performance for him. They don't have anybody like they don't have any depth. They don't have any depth. It's like we got Tony Pollard and who name me 3 or 4 great skill players on the Titans right now. Now I like Cam. And I want to name Calvin Ridley. I do.
I was about to say that's your it, but
I want to name Calvin Ridley, man. I want to. I can't even know. I don't know if I can. They have a young kid there, man. A young receiver coming up there. I got to go and look up that kid's name. But they have a young kid coming up there, and he's caught a couple balls for Cam. So maybe they get on the same page. But I think another thing that kind of leads to this, and one of the problems that Callahan's going to have is you're coming in and you're a losing record guy, right? Mm-hmm. You're coming in from the previous season where you've won 3 games. So you're already not necessarily lame duck, but you're coming in not necessarily the voice of authority on things either, right?
Right.
Now let's go with the dynamic of the kid coming in. The kid's coming in, and you got Levis from just 2024 season who was out there. And you have the new kid on the block, Cam. Cam's the new kid on the block from both ways. He's kicking in the door Kool-Aid Man status in 2 houses. He's kicking the door in Will Levis's house. He's kicking in the door in Callahan's house because he's a new kid on the block. And we all know if there's somebody who's got to go, it ain't going to be him.
Oh, no.
So it's not like he's coming in necessarily with that attitude like that, but that is just the reality of the situation. You're kind of coming in with more power than Callahan. So you're kind of coming in as a lame duck here, right? Even coming into the year.
Oh, Callahan? Oh, yeah. And two, sometimes it is. Sometimes it's, some guys are just coordinators. He's a good offensive coordinator. Maybe that's his thing. There's nothing wrong with that. I don't think he's not going to find a job as an offensive coordinator, but the part is, it's like, it's the one thing you're known for. And again, I know you got strapped with Will the first season, but you have this talent who shows the glimpses. And I don't know if it wasn't, he just had too much on his plate, and maybe he just needs to go and be one of those guys that just focus on the offense, and we'll see. Because we've seen that happen so many times where offensive coach or just a coordinator in general comes out and coaches and doesn't do well, but goes back into the booth and just can focus on that one thing and be really good at it. So, and maybe that's what he is. And, or maybe he'll go back to coordinating for a few more years and learn some more things and get another shot. He's young. It's not like he's not Bill Belichick or anything like that. He's 41. So it's not like he can't just, relearn, pick up some things and be back there in a few years with being a coaching candidate.
Well, also, on the heels of Vrabel just cast such a long shadow. And when you see what's happening there in with the Patriots, I thought Vrabel was unfairly fired. We talked about that on this show. Thought he was unfairly fired, and I think you're seeing that happen, and love how that's playing out for him there. In I don't really know if this is unfortunate. I think this just kind of is what it is. When a new quarterback comes in and he's ready to kind of take over, and we know that the keys of the franchise are going to get handed to him, you're on a short leash.
Yeah.
you need to come out firing, man. You need to come out swinging. You got to come out showing them that you weren't the problem, right? That whole, winning 3 games wasn't me, bro. Wasn't me. All I needed was to change the QB, and things turned right around for me. But unfortunately, no Jaden Daniels type situation has popped off for Cam Ward, at least right off top.
Right.
And that's not enough to save. That's what I would think it would have taken to save Callahan due to what happened last year. And I don't even know why I tried to really defend this situation here, man. This was like a loss for me here from thinking of the positions I'm going to take, man. I don't know what I'm doing here because at the end of the day, I don't think that it is all his fault. But at the same time, of course, he got fired. At the same time, you know what I mean? Of course you did. Of course you got fired, bro. When you're looking at these kind of winning percentages, I don't know, man. I don't even know what I was even thinking here, man.